Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cancer reading today. This is for February 2020. As you know, I like to start off with a little bit of Zen energy from Apollo. I know you guys like to see him as well. So I'm going to put him down. I just wanted to bring him up here for a little bit of healing. And so good to see you guys. I noticed the chat earlier. By the way, if you ever want to talk to me a little bit, join early. I'm usually here about 30 minutes early. It's a great way to have a little back and forth. And I'll talk at the end. I like to kind of start this off with just an answer to that frequent question, which is, this is not a Q&A. It's my old format, but I'm doing it live, which gives me a chance to do a little bit of interaction. But also it allows for me to be more in the flow of intuition and to channel, which is something that I enjoy doing and I'm working on in my own intuition. So with all that being said, let's get started here. I want to start by saying that one of the best things about giving you these readings a little bit earlier is that it's giving you a chance to work on free will. And by getting it a couple weeks before the next month, that gives you a chance to sort of see the blueprint and make choices. And whenever I do a one-on-one reading for people, or even if I'm just reading it for myself in my own life, it's all about being able to navigate better. And so my goal here is to kind of help you see the navigation opportunities and give you more information. There's a lot of great opportunistic energy coming through for your sign this month. As I was meditating just before this reading, I got this feeling of opening. And we're going to talk about that in the channeled message in just a second. But for many of you, this is going to be a clean slate month, a chance to sort of clear stuff out. So I can't wait to let you know what I picked up on. Just before we get started, remember you can always use this for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign, or you can watch for someone in your life that you care about. I want to take a moment also just to say it's so great to see you from all different parts of the world join in today. I hope you enjoy what we're going to talk about here in a moment. If you like what you see, take a moment before we get started, hit like, subscribe. And if you want to, at any point during the reading, there's something cool called Super Chat. It's this little icon that looks like a $sign next to the smiley face. And Super Chat's a way that you can give a shout out, a little bit of support, and you can send me a unicorn sticker, or you can put something bold and just say thank you. Know that that actually helps support the channel, and those little bits of love mean a lot to me. And what I'll do at the very end, once this has been put up for replay, I'll make sure that I thank you in the comments section. So in advance, I want to say thank you for anyone that decides to do that. But with that being said, let me get started here. First of all, the format today, as always, I'm going to start with channeled information, move along to the Celtic Cross, and then the expanded forecast, health, wealth, love, and destiny. In these live readings, I do something special each and every month. I figure out what it's going to be before the set of live readings. This month, it's surrounding manifestation, but for each sign, there's something unique, something a little bit different. I will post in the link after the video is done one of the other videos that I'm working on in manifestation. I encourage you to look at it. It's about half an hour. It goes into how to manifest, what could block you from that. Basically, it's a one-on-one on manifestation. Today, we're going to go and fine-tune it a little bit for you and see how to open things up, because I really do feel it's about creating space. We'll also do a meditation at the very end, like I said, which is going to help with that. And I'll pull a few cards, past, present, and future influences to really help with that manifestation. So without any further delay, I'd love to talk now about what I was picking up on in my meditation. And as I closed my eyes and tuned into your sign, what was coming through, there were two images. First of all, I saw someone pruning, like taking a rose bush and kind of pruning away all of the old growth or the things that were no longer helping in its overall structure. And I was actually watching a video the other day about bonsai, and this reminded me of that. There's choices that a bonsai artist will make to create the shape of a tree. And the interesting thing with bonsai is that it could take sometimes 2 years, 3 years, 5 years for that one prune, for that one sort of twist to really create the desired results. So sometimes there's patience. It's not always about an immediate return, but sometimes you will see it a little bit faster. So that crafting of your future, every day we're molding it, whether you're a bonsai artist or just an average everyday person moving through your life. Those decisions, that pruning of what matters, that's what's important. And when I opened my eyes and just sort of wrote down information in automatic writing, the statement that made the most sense to me was this, which is to make space for what matters most. And that is really what's going to help you figure out what it is that's important and what's just kind of causing you to tread without any sort of forward momentum, kind of like when you're stuck in the mud, right? Or hydroplaning and you're out of control. So think of the things in your life that tend to pull you away from the task at hand, or think of the things that are making you really feel inspired. And this is going to help you make those choices. By the way, thank you so much. So I want you to think about that as we look at the cards today. And I'll do the same thing as I pull out the full Celtic cross. I'm going to look at opportunities, potential blocks, and then all that stuff in between. Okay. At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down. And I'm going to pull all of the cards out. So just remain quiet with me as I do that. And then we will regroup after that, and I'll talk about what I'm seeing, okay? Thank you for that unicorn sticker, by the way. I see that as I'm shuffling. All right, thank you so much for being patient. I'm going to take a quick drink here, and then we'll get started on the reading here. All right, I really love what we're seeing here for your Catalyst card. It came through reverse, but I want to pull it upright so we can see the imagery here. It says possibilities, and it really is about not being afraid to do two different things. Of course, I see the bird here, which is spreading its wings. Learning to fly, maybe also just trying something different. There's a little risk associated with that. But the other thing is about getting perspective. And I think sometimes when we spend a lot of times sort of like, just focusing on the task at hand, or we're listening to that noise around us that's telling us, do this, don't do that. Or maybe it's even the din in our head that's kind of saying, I don't know if I can do this, or this isn't the right time. This is saying, that actually is counterproductive to being able to brainstorm, to dream. And part of manifestation, when you watch the video, you'll see this, is really allowing yourself to just what if. And when I say what if, it's like ... It's the, what if I tried this, or maybe I could do this. And as children, we have the natural ability to kind of like project ourselves in thoughts, even astral project on some levels. And as an adult, we lose that because of practicality. So I want you to let go of practicality and start to focus on possibilities here. And that space that we're talking about, you can see it here in the horizon. Sometimes you'll have to like step away from the convenient, the predictable, the expected, and go into that sort of misty unknown. But a lot of times when the fog clears, there's something beautiful on the horizon. And speaking of sort of like celestial events, we're right on the day of a full moon for many of you. So depending on where you're at in the earth here, but yeah, the full moon, you'll have to look and see when it occurs for you. But for me, it's a chance to go through illusions, because I think of the full moon card in tarot, and it reveals our heart's desires. It helps us get in touch with our intuition, but it also sometimes brings up fear or uncertainty. So in this time, the fact that this reading is connecting with all of that, I would say, look at what you're afraid of, look at what you want, your dreams, and try to find a way to walk more towards the possibilities, the dreams, the inspiration. Let the other stuff fade. I think that would be a great meditation, and that's what we're going to do. Actually, we'll work with an energy of the moon and that bird flying up in the sky. And we're going to use some of what we see in this card. Every time I do a meditation, I wait to see what the cards show me. And I feel like that's going to be important, getting above fear, seeing possibilities and moving towards it. So stick around until the end and I'll help you with that. Looking at the center here, we have the Empress card, and she came through reverse. And if you saw the shuffle, that card just kind of stuck on the ground there, on the table rather. And so if anything ever flips out or gets sticky or kind of finds its own way, I pay special attention to that. So the Empress card is creative energy. It's manifestation. It's also, as you can tell, fertility. So that can be figurative. It's saying that like something that you touch in your life, whether it's a project or an idea, it takes form, it takes growth. It's a great indicator here. It can also show bringing life into the world as well. So for those of you that are trying to start a family, this card can also be indicative of that. Timing is a little tricky though, because the card came through reversed. And sometimes when we're looking at the control of a project or an opportunity, it feels like you're either waiting for someone or you're thinking, maybe I want to do this on my own. Many of you know that when I'm not doing this, I write. And I've come to the conclusion that because I'm working with esoteric topics that I think a lot of publishers won't do, that I'm going to self-publish. So I'll be doing that later this year. But this would be an example of taking something that you did and deciding I'm going to be the one that brings this out to the world because I understand me and I'm the one that will keep the voice proper and, you know, all of that. So whether it's deciding that maybe for years you worked as a designer and now you want to open up your own boutique, or you want to take a position of power in another place where they look at your experience and think, yes, you're worth this. Somehow ownership, accountability, and your voice needs to come out and needs to be front and center. So it doesn't have to be as like on the nose as being pregnant or starting your company, but somehow it's about getting control back. Now, with the Empress in reverse, this can also indicate people in your life, like a mom, a boss, even a dad or a friend, that I kind of use the term like helicopter mom, but they come in and they won't quite let you try something because they're afraid of your failure or that you might hurt yourself. The thing with this is that sometimes when people don't believe enough in us that we can do what we can do, we never develop the freedom to kind of just try. Yeah, maybe we'll fall, but maybe we'll get up really fast, or maybe we'll meet someone while we stumble and they're going to be a partner. You never know how the world is going to kind of open up opportunities. So if you're a parent, maybe work on the relationship with you and your child to see if you can kind of add more trust in there. Trust, of course, is earned, but we also have to give them the ability to fly. And if there's someone in your life that's holding or clipping your wings, you need to find a way to have better boundaries, I would say, this month in particular. Because you're getting this ahead of February, you'll have a chance to figure out how to do that. You have plenty of timing, so don't worry. I'm seeing that for some of you, one of the big things that I can help you with this month is to alleviate or eliminate the energy you're putting into fear. One thing that I really like about the Nine of Swords, and it's weird to kind of like any of the Swords cards because they're always dealing with challenges, right? Except for maybe the Ace and some of the Six of Swords, not so much. But this one definitely is about stress and fear, but it's never as bad as it seems. The Nine of Swords happens when, for some of you, a great example is actually if you're an athlete, a performer, public speaker, and you get those butterflies right before you have to do a very important event. What this is saying is, you can use the energy to make you do a great job. Just don't give in to the thought that I'm not going to be able to do it. Look at your track history or your record and think, I've done a good job. It's going to be fine. Take a deep breath. And kind of like when I have to push go live, I just go live and we'll figure this out. Life is the same way. We have to just kind of jump in sometimes. And I feel like there's an opportunity this month that's saying, you really do have this, even if your mom or your boss or your friend told you don't. You have this. So flip this card upright, take ownership. Don't listen to all of those kind of thoughts in your head. I think it's good to do a little bit of due diligence where you have a safety net. So the good elements of Nine of Swords are basically, yeah, it makes sense to have insurance. It makes sense to have a plan B. And it's good to check your opinion with someone else. But at a certain point, you can give away too much energy to fear and planning. And I think having that nice dance between being over-prepared and just prepared enough is going to be the key to success this month. As we look at your deep past, This is what you'll be bringing into the month. But because we're reading this a little bit ahead of time, some of you may still be grappling with it. We have Judgment reversed. So this can mean second thoughts. This can be questioning someone else's authority or someone else's advice. And guess what? You have every right to do that. If someone says something and your intuitive, your gut instinct, your third eye, or something doesn't sit well with you, I want you to honor that, because you know you better than anyone else. And so Judgment reverse can be listening to your inner voice and not listening to what's going on. Don't see it so much in this particular illustration. Usually you'll see Gabriel above, like sharing that message. Here we see this sort of beautiful music going all around this person. The interesting thing with people in your life, especially since I see in Hope, Spheres, and Opportunity the devil, it can mean that somebody's trying to paint a pretty picture when you can kind of smell through that and think, nah, that doesn't seem right. So in that particular instance, always trust yourself. For the rest of you, again, I think there could be just a reluctancy to make a necessary decision. So, I feel like the February is going to need you to start to kind of have some clarity on what's important to you. So if you need to prune something, prune something. If you need to start something, start something. Don't hesitate too long. I think by the 5th of the month, by the end of the first week, you should be able to get there, okay? The rest of the cards will help you make the decisions that you need to. It's interesting. I just talked about the Nine of Wands in the last reading, and it came through again, also reversed. So we're seeing some similar energy in your sign. For me, this shows perseverance and survival sort of techniques. The reversal of this card is saying that many of you are tired of having to fight so much for something. It could be a relationship, like, are you the only one that's showing up and doing the work? It could be a job where you're taking on the workload of, 2 or 3 people. It could be anything in your life where it just feels like, I need a little bit more support. And you know what? You're probably right in that instance. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to find a way to create some boundaries. And if there's somebody out there like in a position of power that's not doing a good job, you should find a way to bring that to their attention. If they don't have your back, again, this is a really good indicator that it's time to move on. What I like about Nine of Wands is that you have the required skills and internal drive to make anything happen, push through any situation. But what you're starting to see this month is that question, should I keep doing this? And this goes back to your channeled message. Maybe not. Maybe it's time to release something, a job, a relationship, anything like that, that is no longer sort of suiting you. So as we keep looking at the cards, see what that is for you, see if it makes sense. We have a curious card in the crowning position because it has a lot of different connotations. So I'm going to break it down since we have a general audience here. 5 of Pentacles, when it comes to financial matters, is a break-even card or a slightly less than break-even. It means that, if you're getting paid a certain amount, you probably are undervalued, underappreciated. The card in and of itself shows that someone isn't getting the attention that they deserve. Oftentimes, it can indicate a close or intimate relationship, sometimes family relationships between parents and children. And for some of you, some of the cycles you're experiencing now may harken back to that early experience as a child, feeling left out, feeling shut out, feeling misunderstood. I mean, we all go through that to some degree in adolescence, but some people have a lot more difficulty in that area because of life situations. So if that exists, there's some healing to do there. If something's going on right now in your life, if there's still a parent, a boss, or a family member that isn't giving you the respect that you deserve, then this again is a chance for you to rectify. Either talk to them, have a heart-to-heart, or decide, I need to kind of cut my losses here and move forward. When that person's ready, I'll be ready, but I can't keep putting sort of energy in a codependent relationship. The Empress reversed with the 5 of Pentacles is very much codependent. So what you want to look at is, am I getting a return on what I'm giving? Am I always feeding into a certain cycle or situation? And, if you are seeing that cyclical energy, it's not worth it. If you're starting to see improvement, sometimes things take time. Just be very attentive to how much you're getting back in this particular situation. The good news is once you've worked past letting something go, working on that self-worth in many cases, then something great comes around. We have the Lover's card. This could be self-love, figuring out, you know what, I'm worth this. I'm going to go after something new, or I'm ready for love. I'm ready for a higher love. This could also be someone coming into your life and giving you that partnership that you desire, that you need, that you want. If you're in a relationship, guess what? Maybe you work through something and you resolve it, and that's a good thing. But you have to kind of step through the illusion, the fear first, and talk to the person about what it is that you need. And then healing is possible. And this month is really all about possibilities. So if you want it, if you want to give something a chance, growth can happen. It's really a question for you. And again, you and only you can make that decision. What do you want? So if I were kind of coaching you on a one-on-one basis, that's what I would start off with. What is it this month that you really want to focus on? What do you feel is lacking? What do you want to create more of? That's going to be your compass for making some decisions. And it's interesting. The more you read, you'll notice certain cards come in pairs. For me, 5 of Swords and 7 of Swords usually come in the same reading. And a lot of times, Judgment and Justice come together. For those of you that are readers or read a lot, I'm sure that you see that. I'll answer questions at the end, by the way. I see that there was a question asked. So what we see right here with Judgment and Justice is once you either learn to listen to your inner compass or either kind of come up with that focus for the month, you're going to be able to weigh the decisions. Notice that Justice in this particular deck is kind of half blind, half there, because her eyes kind of peeking out. Don't be afraid to look at things head on this month. If there's something that you really need to deal with, to me, this Justice card is about what's doing what's right, but also like looking to get all of the information, get all the facts, ask for that information, and then move forward without fear. Because if you are supported by the light of justice, by insight, by facts, you're going to be fine. But it does feel like some of you might be at a nexus where you're going to kind of take a fork in the road, walking away from someone, walking away from something. These 2 cards show a period of growth after stagnation and that decision that I have to move on. This one is actually being okay. I think part of what your sign is going to do this month is find focus, stop questioning yourself, and be able to move forward with momentum because of those 2 things. So that's what I'm seeing here. Now, because we saw these 2, this can be a legal contract. This could be a marriage. This could be a partnership. So some of you might be entering into a legal partnership, whether it's business or marriage. And in that case, you definitely want to make sure that you know what you're getting into. So with all of these cards, Judgment, Justice, and Devil, that means make sure that there's an escape clause if it's a business opportunity, that there's a severance plan for something, planning for the unknown, and for marriage, that there's a prenuptial agreement too. You just want to take care of yourself and that you're looking at all of the legal aspects of this too. You matter in this equation, and that's what this Justice card is saying. Speaking of the 5 of Swords, we have that in your environment. And I think that really this is about being careful in communication. And sometimes with the 5, there's like a no-win argument that could be coming on. So like if you're at work and you notice that people are trying to pull you into a disagreement or saying like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I would say pick and choose your timing, because this may not be worth your energy right now. It might be better to focus on something else if it doesn't involve you. The other thing is pick and choose battles too. So if there's something that does matter, fight for that, and then think about what it is you're willing to give up. Because you can't get everything that you want with the 5 of Swords or the 7 of Swords. There's a trade-off. But with the 5 of Swords, you're earlier on in that journey. And I think transparency, and also, I saw the pruning. I think if there's anybody that's doing something out of sorts before it becomes the 7 of Swords, which can be sneaking behind your back or saying things behind your back, the 5 of Swords comes up as a warning sign. So if you see someone that's not acting the way they should be acting, or needs help, or seems like they want to talk about something, be proactive this month, and you can neutralize the energy of that card. When we're looking at hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the Devil in reverse. What I like about the Devil in this particular position and also reversed is basically it equals unshackling yourself. Because we don't see it so much in this particular illustration. It's a non-traditional sort of take on the Devil. We see something that looks better than it is, but we know it's not, and we kind of do it anyway. That's an aspect of this card. But if you look at the traditional illustration, you'll see that there are usually chains that are holding people together. And when that happens, there's usually the chains of codependency, of fear, etc. And I think what you want to do this month is walk away from the codependencies, walk away from something that you're doing simply because you feel like you've always done it, so that's the only way to do it, or you're being pressured into it. This is about walking away from those obligations, peer pressure, and also saying, you know what, I deserve more than what I'm getting. This is about really walking towards that 10 of Pentacles, that acceptance, that basically people valuing who you are. So the card's reversed, but we see nonetheless in the outcome that you're headed towards better days ahead. In this particular relationship that you could be calling in the future, what we see is someone that really has your back. And so just make sure that that's the case. You have the same expectations. You walk away from situations where people don't. And that as you enter into new things, you're not afraid to ask about what matters to you. Because we have two financial cards. One shows a kind of breaking even, the Five of Pentacles. One shows that you're not yet exactly where you need to be when it comes to abundance. And this particular Devil card is actually holding a coin purse. I think that one thing that's really important is to look at money, career, and self-worth this month, because the more you start to value yourself, stand up for yourself, and express that through your choices, through your boundaries, and also when you decide, like, what do I want to do next in my career? Maybe you walk away from a bad job, for instance. Maybe don't go back into the same type of job or work at the same company. This is about hitting the reset button, Control-Alt-Delete, or whatever it is on your computer, and thinking, I'm ready now to kind of like reset expectations. Maybe I don't even want to work in the same career path. Maybe I want to repackage my skills and try something new. I think I talked to Aries about that. And this is a chance for you to kind of like reimagine what you could become. So I think I'm encouraging you to take that leap of faith, rather, that step into the unknown that we talked about. So as we look at wealth in a moment, I'll try to see what's possible for you, but we're also going to work on that as we do the meditation later. By the way, thank you, Ryan and Maria, for moderating. I appreciate your help, and I know that there's been a little bit of chatter there. So everybody try to be a great community here, because I want to get the message out, and it distracts me too when that happens. All right, so as we look here in the ego, I love that the message is all about magic. Notice that this actually has an earth element to it, though. We see earth magic. So for me, when it comes to health, one of the things that's going to be really important for you is to get out. And I talked to the previous sign about this, but using like the earth or something like clay or material from the earth to help ground you a little bit. I think that's going to be key. If you practice yoga and the weather's cooperative, go outside, sit outside and meditate. If you're in a colder climate right now, find a tree, and at some point during the day, when you're feeling stressed out, put your hand on that tree for a second, take a deep breath, and just send what you don't need into that, and then give gratitude to the tree for kind of like taking that energy. You need to get outside, see the sun, feel the earth, kind of get into the elements a little bit to shake things up. And I feel like those of us now that really work a lot in the sort of like the digital age, and we're sitting behind a computer constantly staring at the screen, we need that sunlight, we need the wind, we need the rain, we need the earth to kind of reconnect us to the energy around us. So that's part of this. Let's look for a second at other health messages that are coming through from the cards. With the Devil card, it's about walking away from addictions or habits in your life that you don't like. So we're in New Year's right now. So a lot of times we make New Year's resolutions, and it might be to eat better, to be a little bit more fit. But it could also be, as I said, walking away from a relationship that's not healthy. Pick one thing that you care about. And when we talk about manifesting later, I'll help you with that. But walking away from a habit that doesn't suit you, absolutely supported here. And the fact that I'm seeing this card has to usually do with things in your extremities, like your knees, your legs, your circulation around that area. It can show instability with walking. And so this is a really important time to stretch, to make sure that you are walking. And if you need some sort of assistance with a persistent problem in the legs, just get that looked at. But it could also be something around like the lower back or hips that puts you out of alignment. So I want you to watch your step. Five of Pentacles can show a misstep. It's not as bad as the Fool or the Tower, but it can show something in the body that kind of pulls you out of your ability to walk and stand up tall. So I want you to take care of that. All the Pentacles also usually have to do for me with protein and making sure that you have a balance in that. We see two extremes with the 5 and the 10, so balance that out. And finally, for those of you that are trying to have a baby, Be kind to yourself. The Empress in reverse usually shows that you can't force it and that stress is a big component to being able to have that fertility. Just be with your partner, be kind to yourself, be loving, and know that when we look at the 10 of Pentacles, that ultimately is a card of family and expansion. So that possibility is there, but you just have to really be kind. Eliminate stress when and if possible this month. As we look at wealth this particular month, there's a chance for expansion in knowledge. We have a teaching card. It says you inspire young people to learn, but this could also be you deciding to go back to school. Maybe for those of you that want to go and either finish college or maybe get a GED or just get a certification, it doesn't necessarily have to be for any other purpose than you wanted that. Because it just feels like, I mean, I believe this anyway, the act of learning helps keep us alive. We have to continue to expand our horizons, our consciousness, keep our mind working. So whatever you can do this month to feel a sense of engagement cognitively, it's going to help you across the board. And if it's a passion project that you like and you don't know how it's going to get out there, do it anyway. Who cares? It's important for you to connect with that because that's your divine form of channeling. And I think it's a great way to expand on your intuitive skills. So you could go to school actually to learn something right now. If you want to practice Reiki, yoga, learn how to read cards, whatever it is. Again, doing it just for yourself is great. Doing it for work is great too. One of the cool things about this is the sense of community that you're going to get when you do this. And I think that's actually more important than the skills that you're getting, although we see a return on the skills here too. So it's a great time to learn. It's also a great time to teach. And I think that part of this is why I show up every month as well, is to give back a little bit. So if you feel like you want to share something that you've learned with one person or with many, absolutely do that. You're going to get a lot back in return as well. So we just looked at health and wealth. Let's look at love now. And we have a card here of forgiveness. This really harkens back to the 5 of Pentacles. I want to read the bottom here. It says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. I strongly believe this. It's so hard though, isn't it, right? To sometimes just say, I'm sorry, or say, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, however you're going to approach a certain situation, because you're hurt too. And it's interesting because I talked to some family members over the holidays about why is it so hard to say I'm sorry? And I realized it in that moment that it was because the truth is both sides are hurting. And when you put yourself out there to say, I'm sorry, or can you forgive me? You're also very vulnerable. And there's a chance for rejection yet again. But knowing that by at least doing that, by offering that olive branch and saying, whatever happened, it happened. It's not going to define our future. I don't want it to. If that person won't receive it, that's their choice. You can walk away from this feeling freedom. That's the unshackling that I was talking about here. And I think for you, that's going to open up what we see here with the lovers. Walking away from someone that can't forgive you, that won't see you, that won't respect you, that's absolutely okay. It's never easy because it's a big sacrifice. And sometimes you might feel like you're going out there all alone. But guess what? There's love that's waiting for you. There's something better out there. So if you feel yourself at that situation where you're not sure if they're going to accept the apology or the true version of you, it's like becoming the star card. That's their loss and that's okay. But we actually see the two messages that this is you're either going to receive the forgiveness that you need or you're going to learn something that you need to about this person. Either way, you're better off. As I said earlier, a chance for love and forgiveness is here, but also new love coming into your life. If you're in a partnership, it can be a deepening of that. But it does feel like you need to see someone's flaws this month and work through them, either yours or someone else's, because we have the Devil card here. And I can see that some people are having a hard time talking about that. They've probably weighed this out several times trying to figure out, how can I say this? All they're looking for is a feeling of, well, let's talk it out. Like, I love you, so we'll figure this out together. You don't have to like immediately say it's okay or I understand. You could just say, well, you'll see my moderator say this. It's a safe space here. So when somebody comes to you with difficult information, maybe all you need to do is give them a hug and say, well, thank you for telling me. I need time to sort this out. That's completely fair. You don't have to say, I understand, or it's okay. You could just say, I love you. That's the most powerful response to difficult information is I love you. And let's keep talking about it. I have some questions, but I love you. Thank you for telling me. Those things are from the heart. They're true. And and it sets a nice stage for any sort of healing to happen. That's my advice on that. All right, and as we look at the Destiny card, Destiny is malleable because we're looking at this in advance, and we see a really beautiful message here, which is to be gentle with yourself, and I would say with others too. So whether you're the person asking for forgiveness or forgiving someone else or learning something unusual, realize that we all are like this little lamb sometimes. We need support, right? So I feel like just letting people know that there is love, there is a, you're listening, active listening. Sometimes you can just be quiet, be present. And I found that the older that I get, the more that's important. And when I do a one-on-one with a client, a lot of times they just need to be listened to. So someone in your life needs that active listening right now. So just know that that could be the most powerful thing. That could be the expression of love. You don't even have to say anything. Just being there is powerful. And yeah, that's the message there. But be kind. Don't expect changes to happen overnight. That's also hard, right? You learn that the older you get. Wish people could just kind of like grow up immediately or evolve immediately, but that's not how we're wired. I do believe that there is great capacity for healing, learning, and expansion. Again, that's why I come every month here to learn and to explore with you. But just know that it's going to be necessary to be patient a little bit as well. Let's review everything that we talked about here. And then I want to get to a really transformative part of this, which is going to be how you can start to manifest for yourself, what might be blocking you. And I'm going to help you through some of the healing and hopefully opening things up. I always find that this is very powerful. So stick around after the review and we'll get a little deeper into all of that. All right. I mentioned the channeled message this month was about making space for what matters. And I added most at the end. And I think that's really important is prioritization. What do you really, truly want? And something that I learned through counseling is that, I'm going to turn the camera up again for 1 second. When you're asking someone in their life, like, are they okay? Hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Usually the response is, yeah, I'm fine. It's kind of like the French, ça va, ça va. You're not really getting the answer. So you have to ask a couple of times. Really, no, what's going on? Are you sure everything's okay? Like by the second or third time, people will open up and start to share. The same is true for yourself when you're thinking about, am I okay? Is everything going the way I want? Yeah, I guess it is. But then when you go a little deeper, you can think about, well, I really do want or need to change this. You're going to understand who this guy is, what this is, and what you need to do here. So give yourself a chance in meditation to go beyond the initial, yeah, it's okay, to think, what do I want to change? What do I really want? Because our conditioning sometimes has built up these sort of layers that don't even let us see our true selves. So like the moon card, we need to sort of go through the illusions and get to the inner knowledge, that divine knowledge, the dream within. So that's some of what we saw here in the channeled message. Once you do that, possibilities abound. Even this possibilities card was reversed. So as we looked closer at this, you can see it's interesting. The eagle's almost looking back at where it's come from. I think for some of you, you could celebrate the progress, the survival, the journey thus far and realize it has been part of my story. I can't erase pieces of the past, even if I want to. They defined me. They allowed me to get to this great height, to this great perspective that I'm able to now embark upon. And then spread your wings and give yourself permission to try something new. And that trying and that permission is really key because I do feel like somewhere in your past, with the Empress reversed, the Five of Pentacles, and this stressed out Nine of Swords on top of it, someone made you doubt yourself. So maybe my sole purpose today is to help you see your potential. You can do it. Try it. If you want to do it, you live, well, I actually believe we live many lives, but this is the one that matters most. So make it count. Don't let this one person steal that dream from you, okay? This life matters and you matter. So go for it. Judgment reverse. Trust yourself. Don't listen to someone that's trying to sort of sugarcoat or paint over something if you can see the true reality of it. Because as our third eye starts to open, we can see beyond the illusion. You're a survivor rather, but the survival technique, this fight or flight mode, isn't necessarily what it's been cut out to be. So it feels like many of you are at that precipice or that fork in the road where it's sort of like, I could keep going down this path, but it's not making me happy. So I'm going to take this turn so that I can try something new. Value yourself and others will follow suit and see that value within you. I do think that there is a chance this month to increase your self-worth. No matter what part of your career you're in or what age you are, whether you're 9 or 99, we can always work on self-worth. It brings abundance, it brings new opportunity, and it also brings love. This love can come in many forms. If you're in an existing relationship, you can get closer to a partner. Ironically or interestingly enough, it's going to come through a moment of being vulnerable and then having sort of a gentle exchange of that acceptance or understanding. For those of you that are maybe looking for love, you have to love yourself, then others can love you. If you're happy, single and happy, you still may find someone coming through in your life that wants to help you. And the question is, are you ready for that? Because this can show, this is fear. This doesn't have to actually manifest, this devil card. It's in a fear position, it's opportunity. And it could just be a correlation between the crowning card, which harkens also back to past. So when you heal the past, you heal the future. It sounds like heroes. I remember that. Save the cheerleader, you'll save the future. But yeah, it's kind of like that. If you can heal something in the past, everything will follow suit. Because another interesting thing is the way that if you get out of your body and you look at stuff like time and space, it's not the same as it is on this physical plane. So if we can go into our past and let something go, we change how we feel now and we change everything in the future. It's like a tower reversed meets the star moment where all of a sudden there's a supernova and things change. So know that a change of attitude can absolutely affect everything in your life. So there's something really pivotal there for you guys that I think you want to look back at the past a little bit, okay? So that could be the healing that you need. And for some of you, guess what? This is all about you being just forgive yourself. Because I think sometimes we're so hard on what you know, like where we need to be in our lives. You may be here at the 5 of Pentacles, which is actually not always as bad as it seems. Like I said, it can be break even. And if you just graduate from school, this is not bad. This is kind of where you're at. You wish you had the house, you had the family, you had the kids, you had the acceptance. But guess what? This card's reversed. Not everybody that is here is happy. It's not always what it seems. It's like a Facebook picture. People stage it. It's not always real. So be happy with who you are at this moment. See the potential of who you want to become. Focus more on you. Focus less on others. And that's going to be really key to your success. Justice. Be fair with yourself. Be fair with others. Get comfortable with that idea of what it is that you want to do. Again, I think you know best what you need to do in your life. So it's your internal compass that's coming through here. Nip any sort of unnecessary habits that are happening around you in the bud. Basically pruning out relationships that aren't giving back to you, conversations that are unnecessary, get away from those. Really just focus your communication into places where it's going to have an absolute return on it. The devil is touching that, so I feel like more emphasis on trying to stay out of other people's business. That's really key here to focus on you. We talked a little bit about health. This can also be just about having healthy attitudes and healthy habits. Ultimately, you're headed towards this possibility, which is 10 of Pentacles. Growth, acceptance, happiness, partnership, all of that here is really on the horizon. So we'll focus on that in the manifestation, and I think that's going to be great. Stay grounded this month. And with the earth magic, once you do that, there's power in that grounding and letting go of things and feeling like I've got this. And I think even that mantra this month could be super powerful for you. Focus on balance, focus on anything that might be going on in your knees, legs, or the circulation in that area. It's really important. Teaching and learning are going to be key to career success. You may actually find a job that allows you to use your skills and share them with other people. You could decide to go back to school so you could get paid more. Whatever it is, it feels like expansion is important. For those of you that just want to have fun and learn something, you actually may meet a new friend by doing that. So it's win-win-win when it comes to learning and knowledge expansion. Forgive yourself, forgive others, learn from any experience in your life, especially the pain. I believe that when we come into our lives this particular time, the pain is one of the best teachers, even if it hurts. Those of us that have gone through a lot, it's like that you took a PhD in how to be a human and how to expand your soul. And once you're kind and forgiving of all those experiences, then you can get carried on to that next opportunity. And by carried, I mean by the momentum. And this also reminds me of like footsteps in the stand, except I think there's I believe that God, the universe, the cosmos is always with us, so it would never need to lift us up. We would never see two steps in the sand. We're always the divine. And so once you own that energy, then you can feel supported, you can feel lifted up always. So a little bit of that in that as well. So it was a powerful reading for you this month. You had the most change opportunity that I've seen so far. A lot of healing, a lot of transformation, and with that, space to try something new. So let's look now at your manifestation, okay? I just saw that it was a tarot therapy or whatever that is. But yes, that's what we're going through right now is like tarot therapy. All right, I'm going to shuffle the cards right now. I'm going to look at past, present, and future influences in respect to both making room for something new in your life and also manifesting, since that was your joint message. So let's see what your past influence is, which is either helping you or holding you back. The Moon card. I was wondering why it didn't come up already. So this card, of course, can represent you. It also represents what I was talking about for most of this reading, which is looking through the illusions. I kind of like that we see someone flying by the moon, because I also feel like the moon can bolster us, that it can be something that inspires us. To me, this is like the instinctual side of our intuition, where we've always had it, but we don't always listen to it, where we know what we need to do, what we need to fix, but for some reason, we're not paying attention to it. Own that. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid of saying something. Whether it's an announcement, it's coming out, whether it's sharing something, it's going to be okay, because just the fact that you're doing that and honoring your true self, your true vision, your true desires, this is very much a desire card. It's going to be important. So what do you desire? What inspires you? What brings passion into your heart, into your life? Connecting with the lower chakras is going to be important. Grounding involves those lower three, particularly the root chakra. So those of us that are on a spiritual journey sometimes neglect chakras 1, 2, and 3, the root, the sexual chakra, and then also the solar plexus. So don't. Pay attention to, do I feel safe? What makes me feel passionate, creative? What turns me on? And then also, what are the power dynamics in my life? These things are going to help you pull your heart and higher chakras all the way up into bringing this into creation. All right, what's going on right now? It's going to help you with your manifestation. Two of Swords in reverse, making a decision. I said that with the Judgment and Justice card. So I'm actually happy that this card is reversed. This particular one is a little bit more on the nose with its illustration. We literally see someone trying to hit a target, but they're blindfolded, as you'll always see with the Two of Swords. So it's hard to hit a target that you can't see. A lot of times you'll see a woman with a path behind her and she's sitting in front of it, but she just won't make a decision. So the main thing here is that once you make a choice, then everything opens up. And the choice, just making that choice is the most important thing, because you're going to have plenty of opportunities to course correct. You can always turn around and try the other path. Indecision or lack of action is the surefire way to make nothing happen. So just start. That would be my piece of advice there, is just start. Okay, and where are we headed in this manifestation? What can I help you with? This will all help us with the meditation in a moment. This one, okay. Taking a risk. And so you notice this is, I did a review of this. It's Everyday Witch deck. You can find it on my website, and also a review of it. I like this one because it's about someone ready to take flight. The reversal of this, again, is showing, can I do it? Should I do it? When should I do it? The Fool is like, just do it. That's actually the message of the Fool. He, or in this deck, she, doesn't overthink it. And if you can get back into spontaneity, into trusting yourself, into just moving forward, the dance of life is going to take you on that path. And sometimes you stumble, sometimes you don't. Just kind of like think of it as a free form dance, and don't edit yourself too much. If you ever watch someone on a dance floor, it's not always the person that has like the perfect technique that matters. If they're feeling it, you feel it. So you have to feel what you're doing in this dance of life to make sure that it's working for you. So just start to take action. I feel like action, decisiveness, and then just going for it is really important. A little bit of healing first, and then moving forward without fear. And I think that's what we can focus on in the meditation, okay? So if you have the time, please stick around for this meditation. If not, you can watch it on the replay, okay? All right, so everybody that can join me, please close your eyes and get comfortably seated. I'm going to do the same. I think it's always good to focus on shoulder, neck, and back, because nowadays with us holding these phones so much and typing and driving, like, we just tend to hold a lot of stress here. So as you close your eyes, I want you to take your shoulders up and back, kind of moving them towards your ears and then moving them back. Do that again, taking a nice deep breath as your shoulders are up. On the exhale, loosen everything, let go. Good. You can even give yourself a little bit of a massage if you want to as well. Once you feel comfortable, you can also take your neck and go around. And one thing that's really cool about moving your neck, I always like to think of taking old thoughts or old habits and unwinding them. It's like a clock, and we're going to reverse the polarity here a little bit and pull you into the right direction. So thoughts that you want to let go of, be gentle, by the way, when you do this. If your neck doesn't move that much, it's okay. Just subtle movements are fine. Move your neck a little bit, moving slowly, thinking I'm letting go of past decisions, past situations and ways of thinking, things that have held me back. I'm letting that go. I'm moving forward. I'm unwinding the tension, the regret, all of the feelings associated with that. You can change direction, by the way, as well. And just feel like you're letting go of those old ways of being, old thoughts, old paradigms, old templates. Gently pull your head into center position, resting it. Take a nice deep breath. Let the past go. This is what's coming to me mentally. You can say this if you want to. I forgive myself. I forgive myself for decisions made that may not have been good. I forgive others for hurting me. I forgive any sort of missteps or situations that happened that made me feel like I was less than. I realize that all of these situations, all of these moments of pain actually built up the character, the strength, and the resolve that now exists within my body, my mind, and my spirit. So I bless these situations in the past, the hurt, the pain, the injustice, and I've turned them now into something that I can use to make sure that that doesn't happen to myself or to others. You're going to embody the justice card that we saw in the ego because it was in your ego. So you're going to be able to discern, to balance, to see through the illusion of things. And that is going to be a very important tool. Just think, I can do this now. I've got this. Whoever's taken my power in the past, I'm going to breathe it back in. I'm going to reclaim it. So before we do this reclamation of power, I want you to take your hands, rub them together, see white light start to form between your hands. Once you feel the heat and energy, you can kind of take your hands and move them back and forth like an accordion. Imagine that you can see this malleable ball of energy. Take that energy, and I want you to carve around you the circle of light. You can even kind of create a sphere of energy around you if you'd like to. Wherever you feel like you need to put that light as a boundary, create this force field around yourself. And then you can just put your hands in your lap. And I want you to see the person, the place, or the thing in your life that made you question your authority, your worth, or your current sort of trajectory. Who is that? What is that? How did that come into your life? See it in front of you. And I want you to do two things with the breathing activity. We're going to breathe in 3 times. On each breath, I want you to pull the power back from that situation, that person, place, or thing. And then I want you to exhale whatever it was that they put into your life. The uncertainty, the anger, the heavier sort of lower frequency energies. Gift it back. Say, I don't need this. I learned what I needed to. So you're going to breathe in your light, your insight, your power, bring it back, and let go of the baggage. Let's do 3 breaths with that programming in mind. Inhale. Returning your energy to your light body, to your physical body. Exhale. I don't need, want, or even desire to have the old lessons. Let go of the pain, let go of the cords, let go of that heaviness. Inhale the light. Let go of the lower frequencies. One last time, bring your light, bring your insight, bring your energy back. And push away all of that old template, that old way of being, that energy that never really was you to start with. Just sit for a second. Feel who it is to be you, how it feels to be back in your body. And now we want to use the possibility card that I saw, and I want you to, while remaining grounded, allow for your higher self to kind of, for one moment, go above you. I want you to astrally project your energy above your body and see all around 360 degrees, see what's going on in your life, project out into the future what you want to create, and plant a little seed, a little wish in the future. See that seed starting to take form, see the full truth of that dream being realized. And now as you start to come back towards your body, hold the vision, create a energetic connection to that. You want that cord, and now know that it's going to pull you forward. Feel like there's an elasticity to that energy, and it's going to pull you forward like a rubber band towards the eventual creation of that future state. So now, instead of being weighed down by a past version of yourself, by somebody who couldn't let you be who you want to be, you're going to be pulled forward by your own dream, by your own power, by your own momentum. Take one last deep breath and make sure that all your energy, all your body is back into your physical and your energetic body kind of snap into place. But keep that sort of feeling like, I'm being pulled towards my future dream. That's okay. You can have that pull, but I do want your body to sort of be back in one place. So one last breath, pulling all of your energy, all of your dreams back. Inhale. Let go. Gently open your eyes. And welcome back. For anybody who joined me late, feel free to rewatch this. This will be on the replay. And again, this meditation probably is worth repeating. So if you're working on manifestation, you can watch the video that I just did. And that's all about manifestation. And you can use this because it's tailored for your sign. You can also watch your rising, your sun, your moon signs together, because each video that I do this month has a meditation, and I'm always going to put them in there as long as it feels good, because that's part of what I do and that's part of my healing. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to take a moment here to talk a little bit about how you can get connected with me on social media, and then I'll see if there's any questions. I know somebody asked it. Hold that for a second, and then I'll answer your question. Of course, you're already here on Facebook. On YouTube, but I wanted to let you know that my Facebook and Patreon pages are the same. It's just Nicholas Ashbaugh. So feel free to pause this, join me on social media. By the way, when you watch this on replay, I'll put cards in. So there'll be a card all about social media as well. You can book an appointment from there as well, as if you'd like to. My Instagram name is a little slightly different. It's just my first name _ last name. Both Facebook and Instagram are great because I put stories up that will remind you of upcoming videos. So I encourage you to join me there. I also do that on YouTube. So I'm using stories across the board because I'm doing so many videos. I would lose track too if I didn't do that. So watch those and you'll be reminded. I will tweet out reminders as well. So it's @Ashbaugh on Twitter. Again, these links will be below the video and embedded in the video if you don't have time to pause it. If you're old school and you just want to say thank you on PayPal, it's my name as well, paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. And that link has been put out in the chat, and it's also below the video. And of course, all of this is on my website, which is just myname.com, nicholasashbaugh.com. So to everybody that has done a super chat today, by the way, thank you. And again, if you're ever curious, it's just that little icon. And I don't do Q&A usually here, but I did see that there was one big question. I'm not sure if I can find it. If not, here it is. I see from Fod. Let's see. Do you offer mentorship or book writing, somewhat of an A to Z guide for methodology, step-by-step service or direct mentorship? I'm not doing that just yet, but if and when that happens, I will announce it here on YouTube or on my website. I've been asked before about mentorship, so not yet, but maybe. And depending on what happens with my first book, there may be something like that, because the first book is a sci-fi fantasy book about ascension, but I have a feeling that a lot of you would be interested also in spiritual growth and development, so I may do that in the future as well. So definitely join me on social media. I'll keep you posted with things like that. For anybody that has been kind enough to do a super chat, I will thank you in the comments on the replay, and I saw Honeymoon Vlogs just did that, thank you. But I will also thank everybody at the end, so don't feel bad if I didn't mention you right now. I will thank you in the comments section. And you've allowed me to continue to update my supplies. You made the video possible. So for all of you that are considering doing that, thank you. You can also hit the join button here, and that's another way to give back. So we're right up at our 1 hour time, which is perfect. Love and light to you all. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Maria, for doing a great job moderating. And thank you, everybody else, for making this a wonderful experience. I hope you enjoyed this. And nice to see all these faces from across the world. Thank you. Much love and light. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.